welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
Hey everybody, this is Lisa and Nancy with Big Blend Radio, and this morning we are sitting inside the beautiful dining room overlooking the Garden of Birds. We're at Dreamcatcher Bed and Breakfast in the heart of Taos, New Mexico, and we're sitting with owners and innkeepers Boyd and Mary Beth Earl, and we've had a blast.
Yes, we have.
We've been on scenic drives, we've had park experiences, we've seen bighorn sheep, we have been downtown to have some amazing food, amazing breakfast, amazing sleep, so it's been pretty darn cool. So thanks for having us here.
Thank you.
And putting up with us.
We're happy to have you. We're glad you're here.
Did we behave okay?
Oh, basically, you know.
We're actually, I know, now if we'd
Except
say...
all those parties at night.
Yeah, you know, if we got to the third night, you'd probably be saying, okay, girls, it's time to go. But this is really exciting. You guys have been here, what, 3 years?
Yep, just shy of 3 years.
Oh, wow. So you went from Buffalo, New York to here?
Correct.
Wow. So, okay, Boyd, what is your favorite thing about Taos?
The weather primarily. You know, in Buffalo you get tired of having 6 feet of snow in one day. Here in Taos you still get the winter, but the snow is just minimal.
It's pretty, though. It's got to be really pretty in winter with all the adobe buildings.
Right.
A little bit of snow on it and blue skies.
No, it is. And in Buffalo, it was just constant gray skies. And here they have this big yellow thing.
The sun.
And we see
And it's
that.
warm.
Yes.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah, the weather is really nice. We enjoy it.
Yeah, it is beautiful. What's your favorite thing about Taos?
I just like how it's sort of quirky and eclectic. Mm-hmm. You know, I like the different combination of people. There are people from so many backgrounds here. Everybody I meet, it's like, oh yeah, I'm literally an astrophysicist, or I was an actress here, or they just have really interesting backstories, and people are laid back, and they're just really kind, really nice.
I think everyone's kind of exactly who they are, and there's no frills about it, and there's no, it's like not over commercial.
No, I don't think so. Yeah,
which is nice and rare.
Yeah,
rare to find.
Definitely.
So the B&B. Let's talk about the B&B. The name is awesome. Was it always? No, it was a ruby slipper at one time, wasn't it?
It was the first two women who. I don't know their names, but the first two women who started it named it the Ruby Slipper, and then they had themed rooms of Toto and the Scarecrow and whatever. So I'm not sure where that came from, but that's what they did. And then the next couple who bought it, they're the ones who actually turned it into the Dreamcatcher Bed and Breakfast.
Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah.
But you know, nothing against the Wizard of Oz. Can you get sued for doing stuff like that?
I don't know. Ask the lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
Most likely they could have.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one of the reasons they decided to change the name.
Yeah, because it gets later.
You're not in Kansas.
Yeah, no, it's
anymore.
But you do have wonderful pathways to go skipping along. You know?
Not golden though.
I know, right? But you know, the Dreamcatcher fits in with everything Taos is about. You know, do a lot of your guests come here because of that southwestern feel? Because it's the casitas. Even where we are right now, this is the original house before it became a bed and breakfast. Yeah. So original adobe. Do you know a date kind of thing?
I don't. I want to say that it was built in the 1940s, in the early 40s, and this room we're in, and the kitchen, and I think the office are the original true adobe mud and straw. Because when we did construction in the back, it was just cool tearing that down and seeing the wall.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, this was the original part, and then it was added on. I think the second couple who changed it into the Dreamcatcher, they added on some. They built those private casitas in the back and really changed it up some.
So all the rooms are a casita, which is awesome, and the fact that you can walk outside from your door.
Well, that's one thing we liked. Is a lot of B&Bs we looked at. I don't want to be sneaking through somebody's house. You know, if I'm coming in late or something like that.
Yeah, you're home in the morning. What did you do?
And just, you know, I want my privacy.
Yeah.
So, you know, especially with these COVID days, it turned out really nice with all private, you know, there's no shared space, shared ventilation, anything like that.
And the garden is amazing. All the birds. I mean, if you're a birder, breakfast, our faces are all just looking out the window, the bird window.
Yeah.
And then the garden, you've got magpies.
Everybody loves, we get some beautiful birds, we do. and the garden has been a challenge. I don't know how to garden in New Mexico
Yeah, it's different
versus New York, where we used to.
Well, you have snowdrops popping up.
Yes.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, those tiny little irises and everything.
Yeah,
it's
So
pretty.
we've put a lot of time and energy into the garden, and we planted so much stuff last year that I cannot wait to see it all.
What's it like? Because right now we're right at the beginning of spring, so you still got snow, which we got to drive through. Not here, but
Yeah,
like
not
when we went
tough.
on some.
Drive through it.
I
Split
swirled
through it.
I scooted through it. You know, we did all these amazing scenic drives yesterday. I mean, this is the beauty. I mean, the land of enchantment. It is. But what is it like here in summer? That's from some of the photos. It looks like you're just a nice green oasis in here.
It is, yeah. You don't realize as you're coming down the street, because we're in that residential neighborhood, and then people come back into the garden and they're like, wow, I thought this was high desert. You
Yeah,
know?
it's
I'm
a little
yeah, it
oasis.
is, but time and energy and watering, you know.
Yeah. And geckos. You got geckos?
No, we don't.
Oh,
Right?
I thought you had like gecko garden.
Yeah, I've never seen a
Yeah,
gecko
a
around
true
here.
gecko, I know.
So it's hand down legends.
Yeah, maybe out in the desert more, in the mesas and stuff, but I've never seen them on property.
Oh wow! So the raised beds, I wanted to ask you about that. What's going to happen in there?
Well, I like to have fresh flowers in all the rooms.
Yes, you do. That's
So,
amazing.
Yeah,
You do that.
so it gets expensive buying fresh
Sure.
flowers all the time. So we built those cutting gardens last year.
Yeah, which were very inexpensive. I mean, easier just buying flowers for the next 10 years.
Oh well, there you go. But flowers, it does. And we know going in. I mean, just having the flowers in the room is just like that beautiful touch of someone thought that it's welcoming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the wine.
Yeah.
Listen, that wine was
That was
amazing.
good.
That
It is.
Sangiovese.
Yeah.
I was sending it to a wine dealer that we know. I'm like, dude, you got to check this out. This,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know. I mean, we've had, I think, a couple New Mexico wines, sweeter white wines, but this is my favorite New Mexico
Yeah.
wine. What was the winery name?
Vivac.
Vivac.
Yeah, we have 3 wineries right basically in a row close here that people do wine tasting tours.
Oh.
And yeah, when we first came here, they were doing a California wine, and I said, oh no, we need a New Mexico wine. So we had a good time, or at least I did. You were driving, going around sampling all the wines.
Hey, listen, we had
And-
the perfect margarita too last night.
Oh yeah, that
Was a
good.
perfect
Yeah.
margarita at Doc Martin's.
Doc Martin's restaurant. Yep. So yeah, so we went and I wanted one red and one white, and I really liked that Sangiovese.
That's good.
And
That's,
like we were saying, people think New Mexico wines.
Right.
What the heck is that? But the Spanish who came here, 1540 and brought their vines from Spain, these are some of the oldest vines in the country.
It's amazing.
So they make good wine.
They've been
been blessed.
fermented and aged for a long time.
Yeah.
And they've been blessed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, that's really good stuff. But so I do want to touch on you guys deciding to do this as another career here. I mean, you got a lawyer on your side here, so that's good. So don't slip and fall. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, but in regards to, you came from a background of healthcare and nursing and taking care of people, so that hasn't quite left you.
No, that's part of my personality. I mean, I love people. I love interacting with people, hearing their stories. That's one of my favorite things about doing the B&B. And one thing that I've missed during COVID is most of the time this common room was closed. And now having people back in here and laughing and joking and, oh, we did this yesterday, and telling their stories, and I like that. People will sit in here and just chat for, an hour or so.
That's
and I
awesome.
enjoy that.
Yeah. That's cool that you decided to take on another career too. I mean,
Little crazy.
was that scary? Like deciding to make that kind of life change?
We've done some weird things. I don't know.
Really? I want to hear. Wait a minute, now we're really getting come on.
I went down to Ecuador and the Galapagos Islands. And while we were there, we liked the area. I was sitting in the back of a cab reading the newspaper ads and seeing how cheap the property was, so we bought a condo down in Ecuador.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
We just kind of like doing odd things.
Our family thought we were
That's
pretty
not
crazy.
odd. I don't think that's
think
odd.
that's
I would
cool.
live in Ecuador.
Yeah.
Well, the Galapagos is all part of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you've got
Cool.
so much nature out
Oh,
there.
Ecuador is
Oh, yeah.
wonderful.
And those crazy
Is it?
iguanas and the
It's
snakes that go
beautiful.
after the
It's got
iguanas.
everything.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Have you seen that? It was at the
No,
day
we didn't
after.
see that, but yeah, you see amazing animals in the Galapagos.
Oh.
Our place is actually up in the Andes Mountains near Quito.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So it's actually kind of like the same area as this, except it's right on the equator.
So you like the whole tourism, nature part of it?
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of it, well, both Ecuador and here, I mean, Taos is just, or New Mexico, it's so vast. The sky is so open. The mountains, I mean, you always hear that, and it's like, yeah.
No,
and
it's
then you
true.
get
It's
here,
true.
and it's like, wow, you know.
No.
A lot of people don't, it's not their thing. It's not green enough, or it's not lush enough, but I love the stone, the different shades of the rock and the mountains and subtle changes in the sagebrush, and I think
The water, the blue water that we
Yeah.
saw yesterday. I was like,
It was so
where
good.
were you guys?
we were.
I don't know.
Where didn't we go? But it was right outside of Cuesta. No, that was after the
Was
snow.
it Eagle's Nest? Was
Yeah, that's where we saw the bighorn
Okay,
sheep, and
okay.
they were right
By the
eating
sign.
grass at the bighorn sheep sign.
Yeah,
Which-
convenient.
Very, I was like, good sheep, you know your sign. But the water there, it's like Eagle Nest. It's part of the forest, but it's right outside Cuesta on the way to Red River,
Okay.
and so it's not the state park that's on the other side of Red River.
Yeah,
And it was just like blue, turquoise blue.
yeah.
And then you could take a little trail behind it, because I'm like, okay, maybe because this is reservoired off kind of thing. It's blue in the stream.
Well, what's interesting about Taos, I think, or one of the things, is that it's been inhabited now for over 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And the Pueblo Indians have acequias right through all the properties here. So they're essentially ditches. And in the spring, all the water comes down and goes through the acequias and sinks into the ground. So even though we're in the middle of a high desert, if you look at just the town of Taos itself, you'll see all kinds of fruit trees and flowers and various other things that you wouldn't expect to see in the high desert, just because they have so much water that they pump into the ground through these acequias.
Oh wow, that's interesting. So,
Yeah.
well, the other thing that's interesting and different that you don't see everywhere is, as you're driving around, it's like, no, now this is this land grant. This is this land
Right.
grant, and I'm like,
Spanish
am I allowed
Spaniards,
to? I
yeah.
know. I'm like, am I allowed to step on your grant? You know? But then you've got the pueblos here, so that's something very special and traditional to experience. And there's rules, you know, just it's about being courteous, travelers, right?
Yep.
Do you get a lot of guests coming to experience the Pueblo culture?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of Taos's #1 attractions is the Pueblo. Not only is it, you know, it's just fascinating that they have been there, and there are still, it's only about 25 families that live actually in the original Pueblo buildings where there is no running water and there is no electricity still.
Wow.
You know, most of them have homes now, you know, through HUD grants and all that type of stuff. But so you can take a tour of that and see how they used to live and learn the history of Taos and of the Pueblo and the revolts is really interesting. I never realized how much history was in this area.
Wow.
That's huge.
And that's the longest continuously inhabited structure in America.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
Yeah.
And you don't just go there. You go with a guide, right?
Well, you can just go and wander around, but you're going to get a lot more out of it. They have
Yeah.
like college students that are giving like 25-minute tours.
That's cool.
You know, and then you wander around, and of course they're selling things, and they've got shops and beautiful jewelry. But what we like the most is their festivals. They have, you know, San Geronimo Day and climbing greased poles and races, and their biggest thing is the Christmas Eve. That's listed, wasn't it, like one of the best places to spend Christmas Eve? It was in the world, wasn't it? I think because
Not
they
take it.
do.
Yeah.
They come out of the church carrying the Virgin Mary and have this procession.
Oh, yeah.
They're shooting off their rifles. They have, how tall are those bonfires?
No, probably 30 feet.
Yeah, these 20, 30 foot tall, probably 10 of them, bonfires burning.
Oh, cool.
And it's
Wow.
really, really interesting. So we have missed, you know, a lot of
It's coming back though, slowly.
is.
It is. I mean, people are traveling, and you do an amazing job here at keeping everyone socially distant and safe, and the way we are eating, everybody's split up, you know. I don't know how you manage to serve everybody like you do.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty, you know, cool. That's why you do what you do, and I don't.
Well, it did get to be a pain during the middle of winter in the snow when we were serving people in their rooms. So it's nice having breakfast in bed, I suppose, but trying to get everything ready and then carrying all the trays out to every seperate room got to be a pain.
Basically, Boyd does not want any more snow in his life. He's done with snow. He's done with the snow.
But now that the weather's getting nicer, we'll start serving outside again.
Oh, and your garden. Your garden is so magical.
Yeah, so we've got several different areas. We turn the fountains on and all that stuff that people can have breakfast outside. And that's really beautiful. I love that.
That's excellent. Now, the cooking part, I mean, it's amazing. Your food is amazing.
Thank you.
And we had is it creme brulee oats?
Hot oats brulee, technically, but it is. It's like creme brulee.
Well, you got that little sugary cap. That's really good. We like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, just saying. So that is your signature breakfast dish. Everyone knows about that. Everyone gets to taste it.
Yeah, I cannot take credit for that. That came from John and Prudy, the previous owners.
Okay.
And he told us when he sold it, he's like, whatever you do, don't get rid of the oats, hot oats.
Okay.
And even people who don't like oatmeal love this stuff. You know?
No, it's good.
So we used to serve it every day, and now it's maybe every other day, depending.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. And then this morning's breakfast was outstanding.
Yes.
Thank you.
You have those muffins.
Yeah.
So tell us about, because it's blue corn muffins, right?
Yeah, that is a recipe that actually came from the Taos Pueblo. And they're blue cornmeal muffins, and they've got some pinon nuts in them and some green chilies, but it's not spicy. And then I loved the idea of taking the corn husks and making that as the, the muffin cup for it.
Yes, that's cute. I like that.
I know the little green chili in there gave a little kick. I'm like, oh, hello. Ooh, I'm going to go running around again, you know. There is something about the chili. Like there is something that there's a gentleman, Nick Pena. He had Santa Fe walking food tours, and he took us on a food tour, and we ended up, the final destination was a hot chocolate place, but it's like an elixir, and we had this Mayan hot chocolate, and I swear I stood up, and I'm like, I'm going to run the steps like Rocky, but I know I can't, and they're not here. But I'm going to do it. I'm going, because there's something about the pepper and the chili that makes you want to.
We've got a wonderful chocolate store, Chocolate.
Oh, really?
Right here that has the same type of thing. They specialize in these sipping chocolates, and a lot of it will have hot chili pepper in it.
Yeah.
And you'd think, it'd be spicy, but no, just the combination of those flavors. They've won a lot of awards, that chocolate store.
Well, the food we had last night at Doc Martin's was awesome.
Yes.
Authentic Mexican fare. So tell us a little bit of overview. I mean, is that a lot of what people can eat while they're here?
Yeah, I always ask people, when they're asking for restaurant recommendations, we've got lists in the rooms and that, but, I always say, do you want Mexican or non-Mexicans? Because some people have already traveled around and they're like, we've had it with Mexican, they want something different.
What do you mean? How can you not have enchiladas for every night that Nancy would do for the rest of her life?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But we have, Taos has wonderful restaurants. I think we really there's no shortage there. There's a couple of great, like we wanted to go to La Cueva, it's that little divey, hole-in-the-wall New Mexican place. But wow.
Man, that had a line out of it last night.
Yeah. Good, authentic New Mexican food and, great margaritas and little outdoor patios. Every place around here, even the finer dining will have options, with the little New Mexican chili on this or cheese on that. But then you can also get your typical steak and seafood and chicken and whatever.
And then the plaza, that's really number one historic, but known for art, right? The galleries are a big deal here.
Oh, yeah. There's tons of galleries around. You'll see people outside. When we took a picnic the other day, there was somewhere in a plein air painting, a woman out there by the river painting, and you'll see that around different places. And there are so many different art festivals.
Oh, it's kind of interesting because the town of Taos, I think, what's the population? 5,700? It's under
Something like that,
It's
yeah.
like 6,000 people, which is nothing. I mean, the town we came from outside of Buffalo had more than that. But in the town, we have, I think I counted up, more than 10 museums, most of them with art, but then you have the Kit Carson Museum, various others. And then if you take a look at the art galleries, I tried to count them up once. I did a quick search and I got up to 100 and gave up.
Wow.
And, you know, the way I always think of this place is it's what Santa Fe used to be. You know, before Santa Fe became, you know, a big, well, I don't know about a big city, but very popular tourist location. So this is, you know, I think of it as a place that people in the know come to for the old-fashioned art. But it's known as an art community.
Yeah, well, even when we were driving around, we were down by the Pilar campground. That's kind of where we really did go touring around.
We went everywhere.
But there's the river is beautiful over there. But we found there's pottery studios everywhere we
Yes,
drove. There's
lot
like
of studios.
all of a sudden like pottery here, ceramic. Everybody had a different thing. A magpie just flew
Yes.
here and flew away and didn't let me take his photo. How rude! But there's that guy who had what with the sculptures going into the river.
Yeah, there's a bunch of metal people walking into the river.
Yeah,
It's,
I
know.
we're like,
Yeah.
when you drive by, you're like,
Dude.
wait a minute, what am I drinking? You know, oh, nothing.
It's so cool to see art everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
even your recycling. We went down around the corner somewhere, and there's like your recycling thing. They've got
Yes.
things made out of. Like this is cool.
Yeah,
Creativity to the max, right?
definitely.
You were saying, Boyd, yes, last night you were talking about music being a big deal here, like concerts.
Yeah, but hopefully it's going to come back
Yeah.
fairly soon. But one of the things that the tourist dollars go into, there's an occupancy tax on all the hotels and beds and breakfasts, and they take that money and invest it in tourist events. So all during the summer, every weekend they'll have a different either music festival or other type of art festival, which makes it exciting for us. It's kind of nice knowing there's always something going on. It
Yeah.
was kind of tough last year with the pandemic. Obviously, they canceled everything, but the year before that, you know, they had just numerous concerts, and it's weird. You know, it's like a little town park where people go to have little picnics and things, and then suddenly they'll have Sting come for a concert.
Cool.
You know, and you just go there with your little chairs and you sit in the park and listen to Sting do his top 100 hits. You know, it was, you know,
Well, that's really sad. I'm like, sorry about
Awesome.
that. I know that's pretty cool. So you keep talking about this the town park. Is that the little park area we saw in the plaza, or is that somewhere else we need to go?
Yeah, no, Kit Carson Park is a decent-sized park. It's got a very interesting little cemetery in there.
Oh, cool.
Where Kit Carson and his wife, and there's a lot of history to that. But yeah, I don't think the park itself is gorgeous, but it's very functional for the different events that they have.
Okay.
And pull the food trucks in and all that type of stuff. Yeah, you can take a nice little walk in there, but there's so many places to take hikes and walks around here that's not my number one.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
nice because it's right downtown. It's only a block from Doc Martens. And in addition to the park, right next to it, they have the TCA, the Taos Community Arts Center.
Oh, they've got some cool
which,
stuff.
you know, they'll have, you know, poetry contests, slams, things like that there. You know, and so it's kind of nice. You actually have a good big theater that you can go and, you know, see some of the other shows that you wouldn't normally in a small town.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like Somos. There's a lot of writers, tons of writers here. So there's always giving readings and things like that. And you know, the music is not only in the you know Kit Carson Park and that, but all the little bars outside will have it, or you'll have little buskers in the plaza playing with their hat out, and you
Oh
know,
man,
you'll see
this
it
is
all
cool.
over. Yeah.
I dig that.
Yeah.
Well, so many people, places made busking illegal, or you had to buy a permit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
stop it.
Right, right.
Just stop it.
Yeah.
You know,
Leave it alone.
Yeah, let the musicians play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, that's one of the things that's different here by season. In the winter, there's not as much going on. Obviously, you're not going to have outdoor festivals and things, but you have the 3 ski resorts that surround us. Taos Ski Valley, Angel Fire, Red River has a ski resort. There's another family one nearby.
Seekapoo, yeah.
You know, and then in the spring, you have the whitewater rafting with the Rio Grande. We did that not last year, but the year before.
Cool.
And then in the summer you have all the festivals and the hiking and everything else. And then in the fall it's the leaves changing and everyone comes from all the way around because there aren't that many places where you can see all the leaves changing, but we're surrounded by Carson National Forest. It's for an interesting fall.
The forest and the Rio Grande, just kind of, it's interesting because the landscape changes between the two. You can almost tell which one's the Rio Grande and which one is the forest.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, as you're driving, you're like, you're a forest. No, yes, you're not. But there's so much because there were like all these wild scenic river areas, and I'm like, we want to go everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
You need
man.
time here.
Yeah, if you love the outdoors, this is a great place to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's what's so beautiful is the outdoors and putting the arts with it. That to me is it's magical. But the water and then you have a comfy bed and a really good shower in the morning.
Yes.
Seriously, I'm like, I need those good showers. Like, comfortable rooms, everything works, good internet, you know. So everything is just magical here.
Well, the internet was always a problem. We got here and they had one internet system, but every once in a while it cut out just because we're in Taos.
Yeah.
So I ended up putting up a backup system, and now we have like like 5 or 6 different routers.
Yeah, there's no longer an internet problem.
I always hated the call at 10:30 at night saying I can't get on the internet, and it's like, not sure what I can do for you.
Dude, that's been the hard part with us, with what we do, and we travel doing radio broadcasts, or even just processing a video, or even trying to get on social media sometimes, or whatever you're doing. We need internet. Half your programs don't even work on a computer now unless they're connected to the internet. And so when we first started the tour, people were like, well, my phone doesn't work here because the woodpeckers eat the lines where we are. And sorry, the internet doesn't work. We've done radio shows where we just disappeared. And then we come back and then we disappear again. And we're just like, you used to freak out. Or you just take a sip of wine and just roll with it, you know. And I think people a lot of times would tune in just to see if we would make it through a show. You know, some of the places we thought were haunted. We've had weird voices come through.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
We have somebody talk through the radio show, and we're like, who is that?
You heard it while you were taping or later?
In a haunted hotel.
In a haunted hotel. We're like, how'd you guys do that?
It's cool.
Well, that was one of the places we were thinking of buying, actually. There was another hotel in Cripple Creek.
Cripple Creek is crazy, man.
Yeah, and there was this, what used to be an old
It was
hospital.
some sort of a hospital or a psych hospital or some.
They made it into a hotel, and we looked at it. It was actually fairly cheap for some odd reason. But we decided Taos would be better.
I think didn't the ghost say something about Krabby Bottom Boys?
No, we had those were guys that hacked into our show. We used to get those big DOS attacks on our radio shows.
Really?
Yeah, way back in the beginning of podcasting.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like we don't open our chat rooms and anymore because people will come in, and we had these guys call in. We had a lady talking about recipes, and he's like, I want this Krabby Bottoms or something.
Krabby Bottom Boys or something.
I don't know. And she was trying to help him. And every time I delete them off the switchboard, you know, with their phone, they'd come back in on a different number. And that's how it does this attack. But she was so sweet to them. And I'm like, you idiots, even though this is funny, you know. But
Stop it, yeah.
We've had some really interesting kind of crank calls. So we've had to watch it. But you guys, thank you so much. It's been so much fun. And your recipes are on your website too, so people can check it out.
Yeah, on the dream at dreambb.com.
Yeah,
I do have.
dreambb.com.
That's the email.
It's dreambb.com.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, dreambb.com.
I'm the techie one, you can tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I put some of the recipes on there. They're not a secret. They're, shared for everybody.
And we'll share some with our audience too. So
that would be great.
Yeah, and then, but the most important thing is to come here.
Yes.
And do them. Have you always cooked?
I mean, I always made, like when I was raising the kids and stuff, I was a dinner person. I made nice dinners, but breakfast was cereal, and maybe if you're lucky on Sunday you get pancakes, So
this is something
so now I've just sort of switched, and focus on the breakfast, and we still cook dinner, but sometimes I'm like,
Before we came here, we were testing out all kinds of recipes.
Yeah.
Smoked salmon, eggs Benedict, and we came up with, between 5 and 10 that we thought worked pretty well.
Now, do you cook?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your specialty in cooking?
Well, I pretty much do whatever she tells me back in the kitchen.
That's a
You know, so,
specialty.
yeah, that's pretty well.
That's good when you got like fresh fruit in the mornings. I mean, it's just the
We
plate's
try to
amazing.
have at least 4 to 5 things on the plate to give us, a little variety. And if people like one thing and don't like another thing, but it's fun to try to find new recipes and try them out.
Yeah. But kind of your food goes with the area. That's what you have like a taste of place going on in the plate.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you got 10 times with the glass of wine. All right, everyone again, dreambb.com. Thank you guys.
Thank you.